Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. Each week, we speak with top influencers, marketers, and brands who share their experiences, strategies, and tactics for influencer marketing in China. Here's your host, Lauren Hallanan.
Hi everyone, in this episode of the China Influencer Marketing Podcast, we chat with Quentin Albert. Quentin and his friend and business partner Romeo are popular influencers on Chinese social media platforms Weibo and Bilibili, publishing vlogs about their daily lives and adventures. A couple weeks ago, one of their videos went viral and it was being talked about all over China. In the video, Quentin is walking around his home country of France, lamenting that even though he loves France, he feels like it's falling behind technologically, and that it would be a much better place if it had WeChat. As I said, the video was being talked about everywhere in China, so I'm excited to have Quentin on to share his side of the story and to learn more about his career as an influencer. He's super modest in the interview, so I want to make it clear that he and Romeo have over 500,000 followers on Weibo, over 260,000 on Bilibili, and nearly 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. They have worked with lots of big sponsors too, so they are by no means as small as he claims to be. It's a short interview, but I enjoyed hearing Quentin's perspective on content creation and his strong feelings about working with brands and how brands should treat influencers. Before we start, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Parkloo. Parkloo is China's premier influencer marketing platform. Learn more at parkloo.com. And now, on to our interview with Quentin. Hi, Quentin. Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. I'm really excited to have you today.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks a lot for inviting me to the show.
So recently there's been a lot of buzz about you and your account and a video you made. So I'm super excited to have you on and share your story and have people understand a little bit what happened from your point of view. But first, I want to start off by kind of going back and finding out your story. Like, how did you become a KOL? Why did you start using Chinese social media? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I came to China the first time when I was 17. I've always been really curious about Chinese culture and all that. So I guess it just it followed the flow of life. Like I became aware of China when I was 12, really loved the culture there, went to China when I was 17, and then did some studies there, and all of a sudden I just entered this video world just because I enjoyed it. I kind of wanted to share some more stuff between the two cultures that I grew up in, kind of.
Okay, so when you started, you didn't really have any intention of kind of getting to where you are today, of being a huge influencer, huh?
Well, no, not at all. And I don't think I'm anything of a huge influencer today at all. But no, I didn't know what would happen. It's just really following what's happening and just keeping enjoying it, I guess, is the key.
Okay. Which social media platform did you start out on in the beginning?
The very first one was Weibo. And then it went out, now we have lots of platforms that we're using. But Weibo, I was using Weibo 10 years ago, so it was obvious to me that the first video we ever made, I just uploaded it on Weibo.
Oh, wow. You've been on Weibo a long time, since the beginning.
Yeah, well, it wasn't under this name and this account and all that, but yeah, when I was younger in China, I was using Weibo with all my friends and all that. So at the time, Weibo was pretty big, then it died out, and then it came back.
Okay, so what other channels are you on now besides Weibo?
Mainly, it's going to be Weibo, Bilibili, and yeah, YouTube a little bit just to upload videos around. But Weibo and Bilibili, WeChat official accounts as well. Those are the three that we are using most.
Okay, got it. So you said that you're mainly focused on like video and like cross-cultural kind of content, but could you share a little bit more about what type of content you produce and like what type of content that your audience is most interested in?
Well, right now it's pretty simple because what we want to do is really sharing our life. So it's really a kind of vlogging, and we're just leading people along, and we are enjoying it all the way we're doing it. We're trying to do one video a day, but it's a lot of work. But still, like really, we're really passionate about it, and we're just like shooting pretty much randomly. Honestly, it's rather simple. It comes easy, just like shooting what we're doing daily, and a little bit of French culture here, and some sports and activities that we like to do. And people just follow along, and they like it. And the goal is really to bring people into our life and sharing this the best we can.
Okay. Is that always the type of like vlogging content? Is that what you've been doing mainly since you started, or has it kind of changed over the years?
It changed a little bit. At the very beginning, we were doing like more centered around like cultural difference. So it would be like a little more topical in a way, and a little bit funnier as well. But the more we did videos, the more we understood that what we wanted was really to share and to be honest about all this sharing and just showing things and explaining things the best we could. And sometimes just making them funny is not the best way to explain things. So yeah, it's really it just became our life, and shooting every day and all that. Hopefully we're two, so it's a team that is working. It's a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're trying to produce a video a day, that's a lot for one person to handle.
Some guys are doing it. Like I don't know if you've heard of Fulinfang. He's really big in China. Those guys are really nailing it. Like he's been doing it alone for a little time, and just like for me, this is dazzling because it's a lot of work. He's been doing this for way longer than we've done, and he's way bigger than we are. And those dudes are really nailing it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sure that their video skills and everything are amazing. I'm still working on that, so I think you guys are all pretty impressive. Do you think that like the Chinese audience really likes that you guys are producing this kind of, I mean, it's kind of a buzzword, but like authentic, real content as opposed to like something that's more produced and, like you said before, like, you know, funny or topical or whatever? Do you think they kind of prefer your newer style content?
I don't know. It's hard to say. People who follow us obviously do, and we have lots of positive comments about everything, and people really enjoy like having all these new things coming every day. But again, like we don't have that big of a following, so I don't know if the majority of Chinese would like this better over the very produced content. It's not really into what we're doing. We're really like trying to follow into something that we like to do, and somehow just people connect to that. So I wouldn't know actually.
Okay, so you're more focused on, like you said, like doing what you want to do and what you want to share, and just hoping that people like that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Did you I mean, I know that you're saying like you don't have a huge audience, but I think you still have like a relatively, like I would say you have at least a couple 100,000 on Weibo, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a pretty decent sized following. Have you guys done anything to grow that following particularly, or was it just a natural, like, over time you've just gotten a lot of followers?
It's really over time. So we had like few videos that got pretty big, and this is where most of the following came from. Like our first video got pretty viral, and we didn't expect it. We just made a funny video about learning Chinese, and it got like in one day we had 100,000 followers. Wow. So it was pretty big move. All of a sudden we're just like, okay, well, like it's a game that is working somehow, and we didn't expect it at all. And then we just followed doing what we like to do, and people connected.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
So I guess speaking of viral videos, like I was saying at the beginning, recently you had a video that went viral. You were talking about WeChat and how you wish that there was WeChat in France, and it was everywhere. I saw it like all over the news, and why do you think that video went viral? Like, why do you think that people resonated with it so much?
I don't know. Honestly, it's a bit of a surprise to us as well. Like it was a quick video just mentioning the fact that even though we're living in France, and every Chinese person would think, if they didn't come to Europe, that it's much more developed and all that, we didn't have such a tool that they have. And living in China, like so much of my life is just around this app. I don't know, you've lived in China for a while. It's like you're using WeChat for absolutely everything. So this video just seemed very natural for us. And it seems like Chinese people just really liked it somehow. It's just maybe it's just being honest about your own country and the flaws of it as well. That it's just not shown most of the time.
Yeah, I think maybe it gave them a different perspective, because like you said, a lot of people think like, oh my God, because, I'm here in the US, and like everyone thinks, oh, the US is going to be so developed and so modern. And in some ways it still is, but in a lot of ways it's actually becoming behind China.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And I mean, I agreed with you too, that like since moving back to the US, I'm like, oh, I wish everyone just used WeChat. It's so much easier.
It's very handy. Yeah. I mean, we have lots of great things too, but somehow we kind of have to acknowledge like what China does right. And this is one of the things that they really nailed, and it's incredible. It's so handy. So. Yeah.
So when you had this video go out, as I said, I was seeing the video everywhere. So I heard that there were people that were kind of like using your video or mentioning it without really giving you credit. Did that happen?
Yeah, well, it does happen. Yeah. I don't even know how far this video went. Like really, for me, it was beyond control. So we just saw it a little bit. It got like some views on Weibo, and it was kind of okay on Bilibili and other platforms. But then it started to be on WeChat a lot, and yeah, most of the videos, they just cut the beginning and the end, and they just don't mention your name and all that. But I don't mind as much. So the idea is just to share something that we wanted to share, and people reshare it. And obviously they take advantage of it and they use it for their own goods, but I don't mind that. It's fine. It's too hard to fight anyhow. So it was just funny to observe, actually, just like to follow it and just to see where it went.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it's like they like a lot of articles that I saw. It was like this French guy. Like it's like, well, if you found this video and if you're cutting this video, like couldn't you just include his name? Like I don't know. It's just, I think coming from a Western background where we always want to like source things, and stuff. It's like it just seems kind of crazy to me that they it wouldn't have hurt them at all to just like mention your name or anything,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that bad. Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. It's funny to see.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, honestly, when you have something that you do that is shared and liked by people, it's fun. It just, it's enjoyable still.
Yeah, definitely. Did you guys get a lot of new followers from this video as well?
A little bit, yeah. Like some people here and there. Lots of people were curious about it, and some messages. And we definitely had like lots of brands and people reaching out to us. Because it was a big ad for WeChat at the end. Like it was not planned at all, but they got a lot of coverage out of it. So yeah, it's just a little bit. Nothing crazy, I think, but it's still like
yeah, not like that previous video that got you like 100,000 fans.
Yeah, there was a bit of a surprise there. It's true.
Okay, and I don't know. I was wondering, I'm sure that among Chinese followers, there was a lot of like positive feedback about it. You know, everyone was like excited that, you know, a foreigner would have such a good view of WeChat and of China. But did you get any like negative comments or any like negative views, you know, maybe saying like, oh, this foreigner's like sucking up to China or anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, it happens when a video reaches that many people, yes. But most people in China are really, really very nice. Like, we only have positive comments on every one of our videos. Honestly, I barely see anyone say something bad. And on this WeChat video, yeah, of course, some people would say that we were paid by the Chinese government. I heard lots of things about how much money the government was giving me for this video, or Tencent and all that. It's pretty funny to see. But mostly people are just, I guess they understand why we're doing this and what we're doing. And we've always been pretty honest about everything we're doing. So it's fine, really. And fans are... Actually, people who like this video are more upset than me. Like, I understand there is some criticism, and but I don't mind at all. Like, it's the same as taking the video and reposting it without mentioning us. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me much.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like it was the criticism was too intense or really hurt you in any way.
As long as you feel like what you do is right, I don't think criticism can really hurt you.
Yeah, that's a very good attitude to have, because I think some people get crippled by all the negative comments, and they get afraid to put anything out there.
And now it's time for this week's Parklu Influencer Marketing Insights. Miscommunication kills. The majority of fatal influencer marketing problems happen when brands and influencers don't communicate clearly via the campaign brief. Ideally, whenever you collaborate with an influencer, you should first provide a campaign outline with everything from basic info to detailed content requirements. At a minimum, to avoid problems, a campaign brief should include an intro to the campaign, goals and content for the campaign, what type of content should the influencer create, and the campaign mechanisms that will be used. I've personally found from experience that providing examples of other KOL campaigns, or maybe even the KOL's own past posts for other brands, is a great way to communicate what you're looking for. The campaign brief is not meant to control the influencer. Rather, effective briefs empower the influencer to work creatively. For more insights about this topic, visit us at chinainfluencermarketing.com/Parklu and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
So after the video, I heard that like the people at WeChat actually contacted you. Is that true?
Yeah, quite a lot of them actually. It was pretty funny. Because WeChat is such a huge company, we had like 5 different people reaching out to us. They probably didn't know that different departments of the company were reaching out to us too.
That's funny.
So, it was pretty interesting. I mean, like, we've been talking with them a lot, and we're still like doing some stuff with them. And it didn't go to anything planned yet, but it's interesting no matter what to be talking with such a huge company. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool that I'm sure that they will keep you in mind if there's any like projects or opportunities down the road, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were pretty interested. And no matter what, like Chinese platforms are trying to grow their video platforms, live platforms. Everybody's fighting a little bit. So it's a bit messy, honestly. But it's very interesting to see where they stand.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of like working with brands, do you guys typically work with a lot of brands?
Honestly, pretty few. We have loads of brands reaching out to us, but it's pretty tough to work with a brand without bringing your value down somehow. I just feel like we're making videos because we like it and because it's something that we enjoy doing, really. So if working with a brand goes along with what we're doing, it's fine. And sometimes it works perfectly when the brands are just like giving you a contract and they let you be free, really. But most of the time they want too much of you. And it's kind of bringing the value down to the fans. And I'd rather really like not get money than just bringing the videos down in terms of value and quality and all that.
Okay. So what kind of like, if a brand is approaching you, how do you go about evaluating the opportunity or deciding if you want to work with them or not? Are there any like key things that you think about?
It really depends of how much freedom they give you. If they give you complete freedom, then you can just make it up in the way you want. Use the brand in order to bring value to your fan and yourself. So whatever, say a car brand is just reaching out to you, right? You're probably not gonna just only say good things about their product. You're just gonna use the car and just do like some stuff and bring people around the world with it, or anything that is very open-minded is fine. But most brands are not really open-minded. Besides the big ones who understand what it is to work with a KOL, I think most Chinese brands especially are really like very, very narrow-minded on the way they want to collaborate with KOLs. And this is why you have lots of like shitty ads now already in the KOL community, I think. So I'd rather like wait for them to understand what the market really is, and in the meanwhile, I'm just enjoying what I do, and it's fun.
Okay, yeah. What kind of industries, or like what kind of like you mentioned cars? What kind of industries have you worked with in the past? Like as far as brands?
It's since we're like vloggers, we can implement like loads of things within the videos. Like it could be goods as well as cars, as well as luxury stuff, tourism boards, hotels, plane companies, all of it is like just big companies, whatever. Like everything kind of works in it. So all those have like we've been collaborating with almost every type of brand of those that I just mentioned. And it works fine. It's good, like sometimes, and it's everybody's really happy. The clients are happy. They have very good return from them, so it's good. If there is any brand listening right now, like we don't have any agency nor anyone working to find deals, so just people are just reaching out to us through our email, and then we work out something with them. It's fun.
Cool. Okay. So it's pretty much as long as you like the product and the brand, and then that they're willing to give you a lot of freedom to produce the type of content that you want to, then you're generally open to,
Exactly.
to working with them. Gotcha.
Definitely. Yeah. We got to like the brand. And I think KOLs understand better, like they're following than the brands most of the time. Like you kind of have to respect the product and to put it into the right, like, feeling of the brand, their branding within their branding, but they choose the KOLs according to that. So I think brands should really let the KOLs free with advertising. It's the better way it works. So.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. It's like if the brand comes to you, they've obviously already researched like the type of content that you make, and they probably understand the type of people, like they've already researched and chosen you. So you'd think that they would trust you to make content that they like and that works with their product, because they're the ones that chose you and they chose your style. So you'd think, that's enough of a reason to give you more creative freedom. So I completely agree with what you're saying there.
There is a guy who's brilliant in this in the KOL community called Eli. You probably know him from US as well. Mm-hmm. So he is really knowledgeable about that and how to work with brand and all this, and he's just incredible, like really, really resourceful. So this is a great guy to talk to, I think, in one of your podcasts or what, because he knows a lot about it.
Yeah. Elijah he's great. I interviewed him for the podcast, and I think what's especially great about him is that he has experience from both like the brand side and the influencer side, and so I think that really helps a lot with kind of understanding what both sides are thinking, and kind of teaching the both sides like how they can best work together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, since we're at the beginning of a new year, are you guys planning on trying anything new this year? Like, or going on any new platforms, or do you have any kind of plans for 2018 as far as growing your following?
Yeah, a little bit. We've been thinking of creating a brand actually. So this is a lot of work. Like, one video a day is already a big goal. If you want to create a brand at the same time, it's going to be a lot of work coming. But it's interesting. Like, it's something that I've I've been thinking about for a long time, and I think I would really enjoy doing this. So all along it just follows. I guess like 2018 is going to be a lot of fun. Lots of things happening there.
What kind of brand, or is it too early to say?
I guess it's too early to say because I'm still like thinking about so many things, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's enjoyable to see your products go on the market somehow. Your videos is the same thing. Like you're just making some things and you're trying to make it the best you can. And when people like it, it's very nice to see, right? Mm-hmm. And a brand is going to be the same idea. It's going to be something that we really enjoy, something that we believe in, with all the great values and all that, and just bringing it to the people and see if they like it too. Lots of work to do, but it's probably going to be quite enjoyable also along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I see more and more influencers, especially in China, kind of going that route of, instead of working only with brands, they create their own brand. So yeah, It's definitely got a lot of potential in the China market.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Hopefully. No matter what, like, again, as long as you like what you do, I think it's successful or not. It doesn't really matter at the end.
Okay,
so a nice path.
So, if the listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
If it's brands and all that, I guess we have a website like sinshidandan.fr. Pinyin信誓蛋蛋. So you can shoot us an email at hey@sinshidandan.fr. This is the best way to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to finally get to talk to you and hear about everything.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Hi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Quentin. You can find links to his website and his social media channels in the show description or in the show notes on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com. I pretty much have just one takeaway from this episode, and that was what Quentin was saying about working with brands. As a brand, if you have sought an influencer out and you want to do a campaign with them, you know you like their content and their style, and you have given them clear guidelines about the campaign, then you should trust them to do good work and to give them as much freedom as possible to create. It's really frustrating and difficult for an influencer to create good content and good work when they're being micromanaged. So anyway, that's it for my takeaways. I'd love to hear what you thought of the episode. You can leave me a comment on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com or reach out to me on LinkedIn. And if you liked this episode and know somebody else who might like it too, please don't forget to share it. Thanks, and talk to you next week.